Okay, so we are back for episode 4. Yes, right, yes. Well, we hope to see some less peculiar comments. You know, I was a bit unimpressed by some of the comments that we had in episode 3's judging. As I mentioned at the time, I was a little bit unconvinced about this telling, Julie Lemon not to be herself, which I found was a little bit weird. But I didn't like the comments that were made at Stina, but afterwards, the more I thought about it, the more I thought, that wasn't just a weird thing to say, it was downright offensive. This comment about how there's a lot of man showing through. As far as I could see, she seemed to be being criticised for looking like a man wearing a little dress. I mean, even apart from the fact that who bloody cares, but I mean, do you not realise this is a drag competition? It's not a female impersonation competition. Of course it looks like a man, because you know what? Is that not a requirement of the competition? Which actually does, raise some serious points here, which could get extremely ugly. Because if you're going to start saying that the criteria for success is having a realistically kind of feminine form, then that is obviously grossly unfair, because some people cannot possibly achieve that. So now you're saying, well, they don't count. But also, as I said, that could get it extremely ugly. I mean, think about the current series in the US, for example. You would then argue, well, one of them has got a bit of an unfair advantage due to having the underlying bone structure. That would be absolutely absurd. But as far as I know, at least this is what I read, that until recently, because certainly when the last UK series was on, some people were complaining about the restrictiveness of the competition, in that it did not allow people who were transgender to compete. Now, obviously that must have changed. At least it was changed in the US, so I'm assuming it's changed. However, it then makes you start thinking, well, is that why then? Because they thought, oh, well, that's not fair then. What? I mean, it's beyond belief. Most people who do drag are men, so they're gonna look like men, and but some of them aren't, or maybe don't define themselves as either. Who bloody cares? That is not what this is. And for a show that allegedly claims to be about this sort of acceptance and people who've been perhaps marginalised and coming out and accepting your true self and all of this, it devalues everything that stands for if you're going to start getting into that kind of argument. I wonder if they actually let women compete in it now, because I know they were banned from doing it before as well, and I don't know if that's been changed or not. Some women do drag. It's a performance art. It does not matter what you bleeding look like, or, quite frankly, what genitalia you have. I mean, that is extremely offensive. Oh yes, we want you to all be accepted and be yourself, and providing you have a penis. What do they do? Examine them when they audition? I mean, yeah, it opens a whole can of worms, which is very unpleasant, and yeah, I really think they should have thought about that commentary beforehand and thought, yeah, actually maybe that was offensive. To essentially criticise, no, we don't want to see a man wearing a dress. That's silly. I see. So, now that we've got that out of the way, Of course I have a TV licence. I'm signed into my account, aren't I? So you know I have. But I don't, but my parents do. So yes. Yes, we know all about this. So we come back to after this elimination and a horror being a bitch again. Yeah, it's getting boring there. We get this. Against this oh, lip sync. She said this. But I don't know if we saw it. Ooh, foreshadowing from Lawrence. Is there any more to Ginny Lemon? Ooh, yes, well. It's nice when we have Lorraine Kelly on it because everyone likes her. I saw that, I thought, oh, that wig is gorgeous. I want that. Actually, I have a wig kind of like that, but it's gorgeous. It's very nicer than mine. It's because I have no ability to style wigs. They just end up in a mess. But then, yeah, we're actually going to see that wig in a minute. But, yeah. That's not true taste. Not by everyone. Because we know Veronica didn't work for every star. And it's unfair to say that Tia hasn't stepped up because she does. And when we see it in this episode, I was a bit surprised. But, no, exactly, Veronica. It is not just about bleeding clothes you wear. But, yes, try being a human being. Good plan. But it was a little unfair because then obviously she's going to design challenge. We know she's the one who can't sew. They have to have in every cast. So obviously that wasn't going to be her forte, but she didn't do badly. Well done, Veronica. I just thought this was funny when they put this in because I'm like, I've never been vegan. This gets a bit strange, this, because he said the queen that comes with his culinary ecstasy wins. I just wasn't quite clear what was going These was fun. I liked Birdie's one because she didn't just go down the filthy angle. The thing is, because we didn't get to see much of each one, so we couldn't tell what was going on there. But I was glad Birdie won because I thought, as said, not necessarily you don't necessarily have to go filthy, you know. You can try to be witty, which I assume is what she did. We only saw a fragment of it, but was a bit about this one because I've never watched television today, so I have no idea what they were really doing an impression of, but I was a little bit unclear about this because there's a reading of the auto cue and then we have an improv section, but when you saw it they didn't really make it clear which bits were which. Living up to your stereotype, love. This is Welsh, so obviously. It is, yeah. Yeah, was kind of selecting. Why the accent? It was really good. But yeah. Okay. And then we get this. Ooh. I wondered if they did this on purpose because it was a little bit too. It just felt scripted. Well, Tia's obviously going to go for one, like, the Essex ones would make sense from Essex. But then of course somebody decides to, oh, so they're going to have to work together. And we get this weird moment from Veronica. He's not going to say anything. So he's just going to take what's left. Why? I mean, that's the thing. Jenny is kind of saying, well, this is typecasting. Oh, I want to play that part. I mean, you wonder then, since she's very good at improv, would it have been more sensible to take a different part? Like one you wouldn't have expected her to do, to show that variety? I mean, I don't know. But then, I think it's a little bit unfair, because they seem to then criticise her later for sort of, well, we keep seeing the same thing from her. Do we? I mean, I get that, yeah, maybe overall, they kind of, but in terms of what we've seen in the challenges, yeah, I don't really see how you can say that. And now we learn about Veronica's very strange strategy that she wanted to challenge herself. That's why she didn't pick anything. Just had what was left. I don't know. Yes, I wondered about that. That's what she said. And I wonder that. Why do we always get Lawrence cheery? But I think it's just because the accent is that little bit more subtle. Ooh, she's just young and sweet and says these things. Essex girls, it's money saving experts. In the terrible bit, we haven't crossed paths. No, that's because all you've done is make bitchy remarks at her the entire time. At least that's what we've seen in the editing. I mean, I don't know. But regardless, I mean, even if the producers said, we want you to be the bitch of the season, so do that. Well, regardless, she seems to be enjoying the label. I love that category, monster mashup. So I suppose when this was originally supposed to be broadcast, because it was meant to be on last October, wasn't it? So this would probably have been the week of Halloween. Yeah. But, oh, I would love that. Halloween is my favourite time for dressing up, and it's a tricky category, actually. So it doesn't look like a Halloween costume. But we'll get on to that. I love those wigs. I love the coordinating that we've got between Tace and Bimini. I love their wigs. They're just so pretty. I want them. She Tace's with that purple in. I just think it's gorgeous. Because you see, on the first one, you see the auto cue, and then it says improv section. But with some of the others, it wasn't entirely clear. But also, I mean, did they kind of do this, work this out beforehand and rehearse it with each other? Because that's not improv. So I just wondered. this is really hard, trying to, because obviously they've tried to do it as a joke. People who hate parties being party planners, but at the same time, so presumably it's the script. Presumably this is where we get the improv. It was funny though, just because of the visual. But yes, it's very hard to be completely gloomy and boring without being completely gloomy and boring. I mean, it is a tricky one. I'm not sure about Lawrence's costume. I mean, she appears to be the aunt, and Ellie looks like her niece. But the performance was great. Yes, it makes you be mature. I mean, nieces get older as well, but it just seemed a bit odd. So now we learn about Michelle's resting bitch face. Oh. So you can see Ellie looking back and reading on her cards, can't you? Which Lawrence managed not to do. And I love it. Ah, yes. Of course, we have the same the same joke of the fake tan on the white outfit. That another Essex girl made in series 1. But this is hilarious. And now we get Lily's weather report. And fun, and I want to take some Vietnamese wigs. Anyway, but I mean, it was chaos, and I thought that was kind of what it was meant to be. I get that maybe it would have been fun if she'd carried on trying to do the weather, but. Oh god, now we get sister again. Shut up. We keep getting this. Oh, it's all Bruno's fault. Like, has anyone ever told you about bad workmen? Yeah. I mean, neither of them were very good. But that's. I mean. You can't blame out of the way, but Harry Valentine complained about her shaving dry the other day, and so now, well, now I'm not. This is true. Yes, you do. You need to find your inner self-confidence, and then you can stop blaming other people when you make a mistake. We make mistakes, you know? But then we get this sweet little moment, it's obviously just, I don't know. Jenny and sister. Oh, they're such good friends, and they're little, isn't this nice? So she's not going to lip sync yet. Oh, so now we go. Now Ahora's insecurities, some of us are actually. And now we get all this moment where we're supposed to feel sorry for Ahora, who was being a. Let's admit, oh yes, I was being a complete bitch. You are not. Correct. But I mean, I admire Tia's forgiving spirit. She's clearly a lovely person, but it wouldn't work on me. Well, we're supposed to feel sorry for her now because we learn she doesn't have any friends, and that's why she's so horrible to everybody. No, I mean, I only go, this is actually true, but I'm just going, what you've seen in the show, totally unprovoked, she's made just unpleasant comments to Tia Coffey. She's picked on her. Oh, she's the one who started to fight back, so I'm just going to make nasty comments to her. And, you know, I've been bullied myself all through school. I mean, my mother used to always say that, oh, you just always remember that people who bully you, it's because they're being bullied themselves, and they just, they lash out, it makes them spiteful. Should really feel sorry for them, really, but oh, yeah, right. I'm sorry, but many people get bullied, or they have a rough time, and they don't take that out in spite for other people. Yeah. But we get this, oh, well, you know, I made this horror character to be a bitch because I felt so insecure in myself and no one likes me. Yeah, but how many drag queens have that same story, that they've built this persona to be what they're not? They're not all bitches. Many of them are, but not all of them. And I just... oh, and they had this lovely reconciliation. Well, I think Tia was extremely nice to do that. It's a bit quiet. But yeah, to me it doesn't, it might, you know, but every bully can come up with that sob story, but I just don't think it's an excuse. You know what that feels like, and yet you can just happily victimise someone that you've defined as, oh, they're an easy target. Yeah, what was RuPaul saying about when you've got broad shoulders? It looks like a curtain pole. Interesting. But yes, which of course we've already seen the chat show. So we're going to see this sort of Halloween special, which is now completely out of season. That is amazing. A lot of people then said afterwards, oh, they thought it was a bit... I thought it was... but it was a little bit... I mean, when you get monster mashup, so we do a mashup of different monsters. Babe the Pig is not a monster in my memory. However... kind of pig monsters, yeah, I could see that, like, yeah, so I could see it, but it was amazing. And now we get Sister, this sort of mummy with a werewolf coming out, yeah, but basically she's wrapped in bandages, with a bit of blue. It was cute. Yeah. I mean, I felt like it was a clever idea to have the monster mashup, because otherwise it could have just been come out in a Halloween costume. But now we get... okay. Combining a Playboy bunny with a devil. I mean, when you say monster mashup, is it a monster mashed up with something else, or two monsters mashed up? Like, I mean, well, that's what Space has gone with it, so we're going to mix the Bride of Frankenstein with a vampire. I mean, that's gorgeous. It's again, we're getting this kind of, oh, well, I always want to look beautiful. And it's, I'm not sure. I mean, this was fun. I loved it. On the wig as well. It was a bit. Now we get Lawrence Jenny. I mean, this was amazing. It is referencing a whole load of horror movies. I feel like you could have maybe did a little, because we kind of just stopped with the plain tights and the nice shoes. But basically, this outfit was just genius. Now we get Ellie. I love the reference to Series 1 with the prosthetic nose. I mean, it was a really cute little outfit, but it's that same silhouette again. The makeup is brilliant. A sort of witchy gobbling. But it's kind of that same silhouette made out of brown fabric. And then tear comes out. Oh. I mean, that, wow. Just wow. I'm not expecting that. And now Aurora comes out in, yeah, I get a sort of what you might wear to a glam party, vaguely at Halloween. I mean, then she does pull the wig off and we see the brain. Exactly. That's what she said. Well, I'm not serving you a costume. I'm giving you fashion. Yeah. I see. I mean, the judges made a comment about maybe, you know, she's afraid to look ugly. And sometimes we don't always want to look pretty. So, yes. Yeah, I mean, there are ways. It's amazing. Yes, I agree. Sonic the Hedgehog is kind of... made me laugh when people try to talk and they've all got like teeth or something and I can't really talk. Yeah, Bimini was good in the challenge. This is quite sad. Well, why don't you wear a heel? Well, because she's got fibromyalgia and yeah, I mean, yeah. Yes, Lawrence was good. I think you lost all of us. And we get this conversation with the safe queen, which is unfair. They ask, oh, who's the one person you think is going to go home? And he says, Veronica, based on the challenge. And then Ellie agrees. They both like the look. They just don't think she was good in the challenge, which is fair enough. So then they basically bully Tia into agreeing that they thought Veronica did the worst in the challenge. But I think she could slay a lip sync. It was fair enough, okay. That seemed like a perfectly reasonable conversation. And then they have to turn it into some drama when the others come in. I always find it slightly strange too. They pick these drinks up and then we cut to this conversation that appears to take place as they've just sat down, except half of them have finished their drinks. Already. I think it was a bit fair though, because it was almost like the judges were sort of like up with Ginny. Well, yeah, it was good. We just don't really like it. It's closed for business for the day. Yeah, possibly. And this was unfair because the question was that they then say about, oh, who do you think is likely to go home? Well, we discussed it. And it's like, oh, we all said Veronica based on the challenge. As Tia does try to say that's not, no, that wasn't what they said. They all said they thought her look was great. And they thought based on the challenge she was going to be in the bottom. They didn't say she was going to go home because they all agreed they thought she could slay a lip sync. So now we have this silly argument that it was just manufactured. That's mean. Sister in a confessional look suddenly turned into somebody else. Looks like it just suddenly looked weird. Like when she came back after the break. Oh, maybe it's my imagination. But yeah, yeah, I just feel like they always have these silly conversations, and when they obviously just like stir up the drama on purpose, they're all feeling very emotional, and then they have an argument, people, and it's just irritating because you just end up at the end of it thinking, oh, shut up. It shows them all in a bad light because it's not, you know, they're being told to basically have an argument, and they do. This is true, Veronica. With her outfit, look cute, grotesque, but still managed to look gorgeous. It was tricky with his sister's outfit. It was kind of just a money. I've said this before about Bimini's runway. They maybe just need a weensy bit more polish. But you know. Now we see Ginny's practicing the lip sync. I liked her runway. I thought it was fun. I wasn't quite sure how it was a mashup. But I thought the comment was a little bit cruel, like, oh, I think we've seen it all from Ginny, I'm not sure. But at the same time, I could kind of see what they meant. This is true. Aurora does need to, perhaps, not be afraid to be ugly. Well, then you could say that about taste. Yeah, well, you can wear a Union flag has got Scotland in it. Not gonna compromise you yet on the taste. We're not included. I know. They normally like drag this out with a bit of drama, and they decided not to for this. I suppose because they wanted to edit in the drama later. Because it's like, Veronica, you're safe, right? That, yeah, it is, isn't it? That confession, because I always wonder about this, when they actually record these confessional bits. But when we get, there's a point in this, like, just we got towards the end, but I swear, this is one, they've tried to kind of make it look like it isn't, but I swear it's when they come back after the COVID break. Because it just looks different. Yeah, fair enough, you do your own thing. You wonder what happened before this though, or if it was just the editing. Because Ginny, and you see them all, like, the judges looking confused, apart from RuPaul, who's just sitting there. But yes, it's okay, so who's gonna do it? Sing against yourself. Okay. Bring this ponytail or die around this time. Yeah. Otherwise, like, the judge is like, well, as you do it on your own, we'll join in. I'm amazed that ponytail stayed attached. I love the way she's supposed to be a mummy at the end of it. It was funny. Yeah, so who did win? Yeah. I mean, a lot of people were saying, oh, that's really disrespectful. Well, not really. I mean, she said she doesn't really know what she's going to do until she walks out on stage, you know. So maybe she just felt, you know, what it was the best thing to do at the time. Fair enough. I feel like I've seen this message way, way too many times now. Because it's like, next time, it just shows us this message. And then obviously, that's how the next episode starts. And it's also how the Queens in Lockdown programme starts as well. Okay, we get it. I've seen this message too often. But yeah. I mean, overall, that was quite a fun little episode. I mean, I thought it was a little harsh, maybe. Because I liked Gillian and I thought she was a lot of fun. But at the same time, I could kind of see what people meant, that she has a very particular style. It's a very particular thing that she does. And maybe, I mean, like all these things, it depends what you're looking for. You're supposed to be looking for uniqueness, aren't you? Well, there we are, that's certainly unique, but we all know the reality is that they're not looking for that. They're looking for a very particular type of drag queen, which is obviously not something that Ginny Lemon is. But at the same time, I mean, they said themselves that they kind of went there to, you know, just showcase what alternative drag was, you know, and yeah, I think she did that. I'm fascinated by the swarms of flies that have appeared out. Nature has suddenly decided that it's spring this week, and yeah, all the insects have woken up. Well, that's nice. not my favourite bit about summer, but hey, I'm glad that we're getting into spring. All the crocuses are out, which is really nice, and there's a daffy coming into flower way too early. What's that? It's still February, for goodness sakes. No. We need you in a couple of weeks' time. Well, the flies are enjoying the sun, but I'm getting cold, so I'm gonna head off and get a jacket. But so yes, and we will return. Shortly to episode 5. Is it not? Yes. Yeah, overall, I thought this was a yeah, it was a good episode. It was okay. Yeah. But yes, when we get on to episode 5, I have a few things to say about that. We will get on to that soon.